Hey, what's going on? We are live and in color, baby. Okay, today we're going to be talking about. I'm recording this on July 14th. It is currently a Friday. It is super hot outside. The humidity is off the charts, and if you can stay indoors, do so. But let's talk about the Austin Round Rock area. Now, I want us to rewind the clock just a bit. That way, we can put these numbers from last month to give them some perspective. Okay, so if we rewind the clock back to 2020, we could see that the median home price was around $344,000 back in 2020. Now, as we're looking from right to left, we're looking at the annual years. So from 2020, starting from the right to 2021, we jumped up to 450, 451, and then for 2022, at the peak of the market, we jumped up to 501. So just to make things easy for me, because I'm looking at these numbers every month, I see like okay, 3, 4, 5, 300, 400, 500,000. So almost every year we saw that kind of increment because the Austin housing market was blowing up. Now let's look at the numbers starting at the beginning of this year. So for January, right here, January 2023, let's zoom in on this so we can take a closer look. We were at 449. Then we went to 435 for February, 450. So we're in the mid 400s. And if we go to last month for June, hang on a second, let me click out of this. If we look at June, we went to the high 400s, 483,000. So from starting from 2020 to 2023, we found like this happy middle of around $400,000 of where we're seeing the median home price. Now, one thing I like about this infographic is that it shows you the breakdown as far as price distribution. So we can see that in Austin, Round Rock area, we have a price range of homes from 300,000 all the way up to a million. Well, I would say, let's say from 300,000 to 750,000. That is where the core of the homes being purchased. This is the price range from 300,000 to 750,000. So I believe we do definitely do have room for first-time home buyers. I know given the housing inventory, affordability, inflation, the cost of living rising, it has just made it even way harder to even get into a home. And for my millennial brethren, I feel for you. I understand that trying to even start, certain life events like becoming a homeowner, we've delayed it and delayed it because we have so many other things going on, like student loan debt and trying to, even just get our adult lives really going in our mid 30s here. So, big point I'm trying to make is that Austin, there is still emerging markets here in Austin where I believe is a great place for first time home buyers. I'm gonna give you a quick run through of other areas like Cedar Park and probably Round Rock before we get into the emerging markets, because that's where those areas I live in and I like keeping up where I live. So let's take a quick look at Williamson County. So Williamson County, here we go. Here we go. Again, we're gonna go from 2020 to today. That way it gives us some perspective. So in 2020, we had a median home price in Williamson County of 307, 425 in the year 2021, and at its peak in 2022, we were at 478, Williamson County. Now keep in mind, 2021, 2022, during the pandemic, that's when we had record low interest rates, and we saw the housing market, as far as pricing, skyrocket here in Austin. Because, as we know, because interest rates are fluctuating around 7%, interest rates dictate how much purchasing power you as a buyer have. Now, with interest rates hovering around 7%, we're seeing the median price come down considerably. I've been noticing it since January of this year, almost across the entire board. If you're looking at Williamson County, Cedar Park, Georgetown, whatever city, since January, we have been trending down. We've been seeing the median home prices come down. Now, are they still up historically from meaning like Did we lose? Are we losing all the appreciation we accumulated during the peak of the market? No. Now we're just trying to. Now we're normalizing. I'm sure you've heard that word used a ton. We're starting to normalize because that level, that rate of appreciation that was happening was not sustainable, and we don't want that to happen because we're not. That means we're not in a stable market, and if we're not in a stable market, we're going to see price fluctuations go up and down. When we just want to see it almost gradually, because that means things are happening in under normal circumstances. But these are uncertain times, so real estate's a crazy game to get into, but there are advantages and disadvantages, and I lean towards doing what opposite of everyone else is doing. So if the news is propagating, hey, don't buy now, I'm looking at it as a good time to buy because there's going to be less players in the game. So let's take a look at, let's see, Cedar Park. Cedar Park, there's never much as far as inventory that I've been noticing. I think Cedar Park is not a great place for first time home buyers, and I say that because if we look at last month for the June of 2023, we look at the price range, 300 to 400,000. We had 22% of homes sold, and if we look at previous months, there is a level of inventory in that price range, starting in the 300 in Cedar Park, but that's few. I mean, look at the months of inventory; those are few and far in between. So that's telling me that if we're finding homes that in that price range, and Cedar Park is a highly desirable area to live in, uh, you're going to be having multiple offer situations, and those are going to be going up very quickly. And we can kind of see that here with days on market. We're hovering around 31 days, right? That's pretty fast. That's pretty fast. Normal numbers is like 50 and above. That's a normal time on market that I'm used to seeing. Looking for February of this year, we were at 94 days on the market for February of this year. Now, because summer's upon us, we're at the height of the market. Things are getting gobbled up a lot quicker. I mean, just from April of this year to June, we can see that jump from 73 days on market to 35, and now we're at 31, right? Again, inventory. I want to look at inventory. Inventory in Cedar Park is better than it was in years past, but still not nearly enough. We are hurting for inventory in Cedar Park. I don't. I see some. I see more construction of apartments and condos than single-family homes in Cedar Park. So I think we're pretty much. I think from what I've seen, we're maxed out as far as permitting from single-family homes, and there's a big push more on commercial. But areas like Round Rock, and I would say moving east is where we're going to see a lot more homes on the market, and that's where we're going to see more affordability. So I really want to take a look at Georgetown. I love Georgetown. It's a great area to buy in. I can definitely see myself living there. I really like the energy and the vibe of the area in Georgetown. I live in Cedar Park. I think Georgetown has definitely a lot of attributes that I can see myself living. A pretty good quality of life. So let's take a look. Georgetown for the month of June, we had a median price at 410,000. I remember that number, 410,000 for Georgetown. Now let's rewind the clock back to 2020. So in 2020, the median home price was 290,500. 290,500. And we fast forward to last month, 410,000. That gives us an appreciation of 41.1% in Georgetown. Now, I've done this calculation as far as what is the housing appreciation from 2020 to last month for all the areas I keep track of. So Georgetown, Round Rock, Liberty Hill. And believe it or not, if we go down the list, you'll see that for the most part, if you're in Austin, this is a good place to park your money because the housing appreciation, although we won't see it jump this crazy, because the majority of that was happened during the pandemic. I still like to show you that because if real estate is a long-term strategy to build wealth, and these numbers show me that if we're looking at the future, these are good markers that Austin will continue to thrive. Housing appreciation will continue to go up. Maybe not as sharply as we've seen it in the past, but with the amount of big business coming our way, job creations, that those are all economic factors that I see that's gonna help make me feel confident that this number will see will continue to appreciate. So we look at that. We look at Round Rock. Look at the appreciation, 36%, 36%, and in the emerging markets that I really want to show you guys, there are several that I've been keeping track of. So if you're a first-time home buyer, this is where you really want to pay attention because this is how you can get into the game, right? Places like Round Rock, Leander, Georgetown, they do have some houses in the $300,000 to $400,000 price range, but those are few and far in between. And when they pop up, they get gobbled up fairly quickly because those are very desirable areas. So one thing that I have to, as far as set expectations when I'm working with first-time home buyers, and you have, your budget doesn't allow you to, you have a very, as far as options for your next home, you're a first-time home buyer, and let's say you just pre-approved for 350,000. Let's see what areas make sense for you. So the first one I'm going to start off with, I'd say let's look at Hutto. I think Hutto, and then we'll work our way east because I've definitely seen a trend if we look at a map on how this is kind of just like evolving over time. So I like Hutto first because Hutto is right next to Taylor and is right next to Elgin if we keep going east. And Hutto came on the map in the last couple of years because in this area, Samsung is moving in, and because of that, all these builders are developing the land and building a lot of single-family homes. So we can still find stuff in the price range that's affordable for first-time home buyers. So let's take a look at last month for the June of 2023. Median home price was $375,000. Back in 2020, take a wild guess at what that was. $251,000 median home price for the year 2020 in Hutto, Texas. Now we're at $375,000. So that gives us a house appreciation of almost 50% in the span of the last 3 years. Let that sink in for a second. That is a very nice number to have. And what the markets we're going to be looking at are all emerging, right? So they're great price points for first-time home buyers, and you could see that these areas are going to continue to appreciate over time. Now, don't get your hopes up as far as this is what you're going to see annually every year after you buy, but the trend is pointing in a positive direction that the housing appreciation will continue to go up, and we have an attractive starting price point at $375,000. Let's zoom in here. We have, and the majority of this were homes sold in the $300,000 to $400,000 range for the city of Hutto. 48 days on market, 1.8 months of inventory. That's actually really low, a lot lower than I would like to see it. That means that's telling me, especially if we had, we were never in the high 2s or 3s. We've kind of been struggling for inventory for Hutto for quite some time now. So that is one that is a market for Hutto. But let's go to Elgin. Elgin is a little bit more further east of Hutto and further east of Taylor. But I really wanted to jump here because I want to really show you. Look at the price points for Elgin. Elgin, we're looking at. They even have houses starting in the 100,000 range. Look at this price distribution. We have houses from 100,000 to 400,000, and that is the bulk of the houses being sold here in Elgin. Right? Now, if we look at Elgin from 2020 to last month, they had their housing appreciated by over 40%. Okay, let's take a look at those numbers. Right? So for 2020, we were tracking at $213,000 for the median home price for the city of Elgin, and now last month we're at $302,000. So I did the math. That leaves us with a house appreciation from 2020 to last month of that's tracking around 41%. Now, I really want to segue and read this to you guys because we get market, when we get our market update packets, Ashley Jackson, our president of our board, I think is super insightful and knows, and I love how she interprets data when she's looking at the numbers. So I want to read this paragraph from the report that she puts out every month, right? And it goes, so the diverse and resilient economy that has been built in Central Texas, particularly over the past 2 decades, is instrumental. Hang on here, let me center this correctly. Is instrumental in helping the region and our housing market withstand less ideal economic conditions. It is important to remember that the market continues to moderate in the wake of unsustainable price growth and sales activity during the pandemic, but remains robust. The median sales price in the MSA appreciated by nearly 50% from June of 2019 to June of last month. Well, June of this year. The ability to buy a home remains the best way to create generational wealth, and that needs to be more accessible to everyone. Ashley Jackson, our 2023 board president. So that is very much in line with the numbers I came up with. Now, keep in mind, I started from 2020. She went all the way back to 2019. So that's why it's probably a little bit higher. But point being, the boom is here to stay. And one thing that I keep just seeing across the horizon is this housing affordability, inventory we need more of, but there are places that are building. And if we look at Austin as a whole, right, we are right here, 3.7 months of inventory. That's not bad. It's not ideal, but it's not bad either, right? Especially if you compare it to years past. Look how we were back in 2020. We were at 0.06, so less than a month of inventory for the Austin area, right? 2021, we were almost no better. 2022 is when we started picking things back up, right? And now we're at 3.7. So we are trending and going in a positive direction of getting more inventory, especially, and that translates to more inventory, more options for buyers, and we're going to start seeing the housing prices kind of level off because when there's more inventory, we consumers have more options to choose from, and that is going to mitigate demand. So I really want the big takeaways I really want you to get from this video is that if you're a first-time home buyer, I would really be looking at these areas: Elgin, Taylor, Gerald, Hutto, Manor, Bastrop. Let's see. Bastrop's an excellent area. This is in the southeast Austin, right? Of where they're starting to build, and look at the median price, $288,000, and their price distribution. So they're building homes in the price range of $200,000 to $400,000. See how that's the bulk of their sales, and you can see in months past that does not fluctuate or change very much. So Bastrop is another great area to live in if you're looking at homes that in your price range. It just depends on what part of the city you want to live in. But remember, if you're a first-time home buyer, this isn't your forever home. This is just your home to get into the game, and don't let that discourage you from when you see the news and you keep seeing that things are out of reach, unobtainable. You feel like you're falling behind, especially for my millennials. This message is for you guys, because I want to help my generation, because I'm a millennial too, attain home ownership and get out of the hole that we dug ourselves in. We had to take ownership for that. I know we were kind of set up for failure to begin with, but the only way we get out of it is we take ownership, and we have to realize that we're the only ones. We have the power of our lives are in our hands, and we can control, and we want stuff that we can control. And this is something that is in the realm of your control, right? You could do this. I know There were so many ways where we could have got set up a little bit nicer for this, but hey, we are in, we're at where we're at, but there is a way out, and I'm here to help you with that. So this was my market. This is a market update for the city of Austin. We looked at different areas around Williamson County, and I hope this was informative. If you're a first-time home buyer and you found, definitely leave me a comment below and tell me what cities you're looking at to see where you are able to get in. And keep in mind that with all these price points, there is always room to negotiate. Okay, always room to negotiate. And there are so many ways to help present the best offer, that working with an experienced real estate agent, that's where that value comes in, is the negotiation, because we've seen the deals, we see what deals get through because we talk to one another, and I always set up my clients for success and win offers when we're getting to get you to that closing table and get you into the house game. Okay, thanks for watching. That's all I got for now. I post these once a month when the numbers come out, and I put everything together here on Notion. If this doesn't look familiar to you, I love using Notion to consolidate everything. This is how I monitor the market. That makes sense for me. If you love it, let me know below. I might share it with you guys. I'm not sure, because I did put a lot of work and effort into this, and I don't know. I definitely have an attachment to it, but this definitely helps me keep track of the market and look at the numbers from a very, bird's eye view. So I can try to see what to forecast, what the future might look like by looking at the past data. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Until next time.